I don't really have a pre-video rant for this one, honestly. I just want to say that the iDubbbz controversy, it is the dumbest thing I've seen in a while. And you should be ashamed if you bashed him. You really should. Fresh Orange here. Here we go. So, you've heard the title already. Suburban, also known as Daniel last name, because I do not want to butcher that last name, is a New Jersey-born producer, singer, songwriter that has been putting out music since 2017. His breakout hit Cradles was a very eerie, almost fucked up, but not too fucked up EDM hit. It was a transitional song from childhood to adulthood. It intrigued me because it was almost horror inspired. It was unsettling, very synth driven. It was kind of refreshing, but not too refreshing. Not too refreshing. And clearly a lot of money was being put into Dan, at least the visual aspect of the Suburban name. And now we have the debut EP, and I just have to say that Dan did not play to his strengths. Because aside from 2 songs, there's not really anything that I haven't heard before or anything that really plays to the unsettling horror-inspired aspects of his past songs. We have Freak, the opening song. Freak is the first and only standout song in my eyes. It has this unsettling vibe throughout the entire song. We get some synths, some violins throughout the song. It feels like a horror movie soundtrack combined with bedroom pop. The performances are really great, and they stand out. Ray Ami, I think that's how you pronounce it, manages to add even more of an unsettling vibe with her constant humming. Her verse might be underwhelming, but she contrasts very nicely with Urban. Dan himself is very quiet, gasping. He's taking a note from Billie Eilish in my eyes. However, it's not the only song. I take that back. It's the only song that stands out because it's the only song that's willing to take a risk. Because every other song is almost overblown in a sense, and drowned in synths. Cliche is overblown as hell. Synths make me feel like I'm being closed in, and I'm being overpowered, and being gut punched numerous times. And I do not like feeling like that. The lyrics seem too pessimistic for my taste, especially when you say shit like this. Case of mistaken identity. You think you're all original, but you'll never be unique. That is the most cliche emo thing I have ever heard in a long time, and there's just something about that just seems so ironic to me in the song titled Cliche. KMS is not all too different from Cliche musically anyway. I don't feel like the quiet sort of raspy voice Dan owns throughout this entire EP really fits the tone of the song. Like, suicide is an issue, and my heart goes out to anyone who's been affected by it. But goddamn, these lyrics are just something to behold. Like, so I'll go fuck myself till I'm too lonely to feel. Dance like a court jester just for a film with no reel. And I'll lose all of my friends when I'm no longer ideal, and then get scolded again just to come home to no meal. This is the equivalent of like high school notebook poetry. It's not too unfamiliar to something you would find off of like XXXTentacion 17, frankly. Songwriting wise, it's the same verse, pre-chorus, chorus formula, and I feel like it clings to that conventional formula, just a little too hard, maybe a little too hard for its own good, but yeah, all things considered, it's not really all too profound. Spring Fever, I feel, is the epitome of the overpowering synth-driven comment I was talking about earlier. It's like I'm trapped in a haunted NES game. It honestly just becomes a musical mess. All things considered, it's trying to be more energetic, and I appreciate it for that, but it sacrifices a lot to be that. Isolate just feels like a FNAF fan song. Like, do you remember that one song by The Living Tombstone in 2014, when you were in like middle school? That is exactly the kind of vibe that I get off the song. Except now, it's taking a lot from the bass boost memes and the Don't Smile at Me era Billie Eilish. Both Circa, I think, and When the Flies Fell Down don't have a lot to be said about them. However, The Flies is the slower song in the EP. We have this really quiet, really buried ukulele playing, what I can assume to be ukulele playing, because why not? In the background, it's very dreamy, it's very depressing, but then we get this awful vocal mix on the chorus. It's blown out, it's compressed to hell, it just sounds bad. And that's how And yeah. This EP is not really anything I expected, but at least I didn't hate it. I just feel like outside of one track, Dan just kind of played safe to me. I feel like if he wants to accelerate, he's going to have to improve off this eerie, haunted vibe that just sticks with you. Because aside from Freak and maybe The Flies, nothing really sticks. Giving a 5 out of 10 on this thing. Next album is The Weeknd, and then after that, it's Code Orange. And that's it for me. Bye.